Brian told us to bring energy, so here it is.
Big energy.
Big energy.
Ooh, maybe that was it. I'm sorry if I burst anyone's eardrum.
Yeah, I know that was a bit loud. If you're listening on headphones, we apologise.
I apologise.
Disclaimer, guys. Anybody listening or watching this, we have to apologise. Beth has got building work going on at Etiquette and brought the dog in, as you just probably heard then. So rather than us not do the episode and we skip away and then we get behind and it gets stressful, we're just going to power through. And we apologise if you hear a cute little dog or a bit of drilling and banging.
His name's Cooper. He's
the dog or the drilling and banging?
9 months old. Please
quick fire
him.
Dogs at weddings, yes or no?
Yes.
No. Okay, we are talking all about celebrant versus registrar weddings.
Dun, dun, dun.
So without further ado, let's just roll the credits and get straight into it.
Let's go. Okay, celebrant,
registrar.
legal wedding.
Shall I explain first?
Registrar. Let's tell everyone what each one is, just so everyone's really clear, because I don't know if everyone knows.
No, and you no shade on people that don't know, because sometimes I'll do a call with someone and I'll say, are you having a legal wedding? And they're like,
what?
I don't know. And I'm like,
what?
Okay, so in England, and this bit's important because in Scotland, celebrant weddings are legal. So I'm talking about England here.
Scotland's legal.
Scotland, you can have a celebrant wedding and that's all you have to do.
Okay,
so
legal.
Yeah. In England, to have a legal ceremony, you have to have registrars or a church wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your two options if you want to be legally married on that day. So legal weddings are a registrar that are going to a licensed venue in a licensed location at that venue. That will be legal. You will be signing paperwork and you'll be doing a meeting before the ceremony, which we'll talk about more. I'm getting serious because I'm pointing with my fingers for anyone that is watching. So a celebrant wedding in England.
Also, most people have registrars.
The norm is a registrar.
Registrar, you have to book your registrar separate from the venue.
Yes.
You have to book a time. You have to give notice of your marriage.
Yes.
And they cost money.
They cost quite a lot of money.
Factor that into your wedding.
Yeah, definitely. So the legalities behind a ceremony is a cost that you need to think about.
Time as well. You need to go and see them. You need to prove that they're not being into a forced marriage.
Yeah.
They'll ask you questions about each other.
Yeah. That was all scary, but fine.
What questions did they ask?
So they asked us we went to the Shire Hall or whatever it is, and they interviewed together. Shire Hall in Gloucester.
Not Shite Hall.
Not Shite Hall.
How it sounded.
So they asked you some questions together and then they sent me out.
Questions?
So hold on. So together they were just like, when are you getting married? Where are you getting married? Date, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Oh, so then you go separate.
Then they separated us. I know,
it's
I was
a real
terrified.
Test. Brian failed.
Brian took ages. Why did you take so long? Just chatted. Oh, fine. Brian took ages.
Was it a lady?
It was a lady, yeah. So I was worried about, oh my God, what's he said wrong? So they ask you what your job title is, which is where me and Brian immediately got stuck, because what do I put? He's
yours or his?
Both of us.
Stay-at-home dad.
Business owners. Entrepreneur. So we had to do that. We had to put both of our parents' job titles. But I don't think Brian would know what my mum's job title was.
No, I wouldn't know what Jack's mum was.
So you have to kind of, maybe this is your cue to actually talk to your partner about this.
Yeah.
They're not super serious though. It's not like if you don't get it
I do
accurate,
know actually.
if you don't get it accurate.
PA to the director, I think.
There we go. That sounds good. But that's the thing, it doesn't matter if it's not bang on, but it needs to be the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that was it really. They're not asking you anything too weird, but then they bring the other person in, ask the same questions, and then they bring you both back in together.
Did they ask you if you wanted to get married? You were consenting and it wasn't...
Probably. I don't actually really remember that question.
No,
I don't remember it being a big... I don't remember it being a big, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
But then they do the same kind of questions on the day of your wedding. So a lot of people don't realise that when you then get married with a registrar, you have to have an interview just before your wedding. So if you're getting married at 1 p.m, at 12:30, typically the groom would have to go and do an interview with the registrars, re-answer all those questions and just check everything's right, sign the form.
Mm-hmm.
The bride typically would then have an interview 15 minutes before the ceremony, and you finish that interview and go straight down that aisle. So you've got to factor in that 15 minutes that you need to be ready ahead of it and where you're doing that interview and stuff. So that's a registrar wedding. Celebrants are
cool people.
They are cool people. They are an officiant that can conduct a ceremony. So there's
Do you have to have a license for that?
So
Anybody do it?
Anybody can do it because there's no legalness behind it. So I've done weddings where their granddad has done it, or auntie, or a friend. Like, you can do anything.
So just rewind a second. So registrars, you have to be in a licensed venue,
has to be
in
a
permanent
venue.
Structure or pergola. Or
it has to be a licensed structure. So they could have a room that you want to get married in, but if it's not a licensed room, you can't.
You have to send them all your music beforehand, and they have to approve it. It can't be religious.
Yeah, you can't do any religious readings.
Anything that says God or anything like that, you're not allowed to do in them.
They're not like, and again, this is the other problem with registrars. It sounds like we're having a go at registrars. We're not. I just want people to know all of the information before they do things.
Registrars marry you. You need them.
Yeah. So it's not, this is me doing no shade against registrars. I just want people to know all the stuff before they do it. Mm-hmm. But a celebrant wedding has way less rules. So you can do whatever you want.
Whatever music.
There's no
rules. You write your own vow. Yeah. Can you write your own vows with registrars?
Yeah, you can actually. So you have to do certain vows, and then you can choose to add in some of your own vows at the end of it. So you can still do things with registrars, but sometimes people will say like, oh, can you get them to stand in the aisle to do some of the wedding? And I'm like, it's going to depend on registrar.
Yeah.
Like, each county is different.
Each county's different. Some don't like real candles. Yeah. Some don't.
Some are super strict. Some are
really
super relaxed.
Want tables, and like so many people when it comes to styling are like, can you remove that table at the end of the aisle?
No.
You can move it to the side at some venues.
Yeah.
Some venues will let you remove it because the registrars are chill.
I've never seen them let them move it.
I have a couple of times. There's one venue.
Why will they let? What, they'll move it in after?
They move it into a separate room for them to sign.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair. Like a church. But you have to have a table there. So when you have a registrar wedding, you'll have two registrars that come, one who stands to conduct the ceremony and one who sits to record the ceremony. So you have to have a table for the registrar to sit at, normally off to like the left or right, so you can't really see it. It doesn't ruin any photos. Then you'll sit down at another table and sign the register.
So with a celebrant, you need no tables.
No tables. You don't need. But you also can have a table.
Yeah, you can literally.
So if you want to do a fake set of signing, you can. I've done some weddings where they do that.
So as a celebrant, if you have a celebrant ceremony, they're great for marquees. They're great for outdoor ceremonies. Yeah, they're great for.
My problem is that I'm super biased to a celebrant ceremony.
And I wasn't before. And then, like I said in the previous episode 2 about Georgie's wedding, I loved it. It was really personal and I loved it. And I'd be like, yes, get a celebrant. But do you not think it's a massive ball ache to then get the legal one done? So when you do a celebrant wedding, you then have to have a legal wedding.
So to anybody who is thinking about having a celebrant, you have to then go and still, well, you don't have to, I guess, but to actually then be married, you have to go and sign the paperwork. So when I spoke to Gloucestershire County Council to do that bit, they give you two options. One is like just a normal ceremony. So it's a in-out, bish, bosh, bash. Do you? Yes, I do. Sign the paperwork. Go. See you later. The enhanced ceremony means you can have photographs and music, and it's a bit more like a ceremony.
So, of course, Georgie had the enhanced one. But
it wasn't even that much more, to be fair.
But this is where it comes. It's cost. You're paying for a celebrant. Like, how much is an average celebrant, and how much did the registrar cost? You're then double paying.
But it costs. So if you go and have your wedding at a registry office, it's cheaper than getting the registrars to come out to a wedding venue. So it's going to depend on celebrants. It's going to depend on different registrars. But I don't think it's a huge amount more to have a celebrant-led ceremony.
Okay.
The other thing I've seen, which is super interesting and can be done, is that you can have a celebrant ceremony. You can then get your registrars to come to the venue and you go into a licensed room and sign your paperwork.
Oh.
I know. So you could get lucky and get the best of both worlds.
That's cool.
But that will then be more expensive.
And a bit more time.
Yes. So the one I did last year where they did that, they had a ceremony in this little chapel. It was beautiful. Like it was a venues chapel, so it wasn't religious or anything. They had a celebrant ceremony. We then did the confetti. They then whipped straight into the library at the venue. The registrars were there. It probably took them 15 minutes to do that bit, and then they came out to the drinks reception. So all we did is allowed for a little bit longer for the drinks reception, but it was lovely.
Okay, so reasons for having a celebrant are
too many. Okay.
So one, sometimes hitting my face on the mic. One are if you. When you book your venue, some people don't actually realise you have to book a registrar. When they ring the registrar, they either have
they've got like 3 p.m. left.
3 p.m. left or 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And the timings are just completely off and it'll throw your whole day.
Registrars are normally doing 2 weddings a day. So they have to be more strict on the timings. They have to go on to somewhere else. Like as a bride, if you're late, you can't be late. You can't be late. It's like
they'll just be. I've seen it before where they're like, "You've got 5 minutes, otherwise I'm not marrying them."
Yeah. And they'll say that to me, and I'm like, I'm literally walking across in the rain with them. You can see what's happening. And again, sometimes you just get lucky. The thing I have with registrar versus celebrant, for all of your suppliers, you pick them. You scour the internet to find the right person. You speak to them beforehand. You check that you vibe check them. For a registrar, you're hoping that you get the good one.
Sometimes they don't pass.
But
sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do, and they are brilliant. And I've seen some really, really good ones. Vice versa, I've seen some really bad ones. Like,
what makes a bad?
Just they're just not really into it, or they say the names wrong. Oh, it happens so many times.
Yeah, we spoke about that, didn't we?
Yeah, like it just, and then it makes me sad because then they kind of ruin the bit. So if you're right at the start of wedding planning, I would highly recommend looking into a celebrant just to understand it a little bit more, because I think they're still quite new.
Just like a bit taboo topic.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's like, why do you need it?
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's you don't need to have it. This is the problem. It's one of those extras. But if you want a super intimate, personal ceremony, a celebrant is definitely the way to go. As a guest, what did you think of our ceremony?
Oh, I loved it.
I don't want people to think that their wedding starts after the ceremony.
It was personal, intimate, magical. I loved hearing the story. There were some bits I knew, some bits I didn't, and it was part of a word search on the nursepaper, like some of the bits in it, like everything tied in really nicely. And it was nice that Faye stood in the aisle, so we could see you do your vows. The vows were really important. Like Georgie was like, to promise and like all of Brian's TikToks.
I promised to like and share Brian's TikToks, which I think I've already broken.
Yeah, I think you have. But no, it was really, really nice.
And it did also mean, because I think the other bit of taboo that's with celebrants is people think it's all hippie.
I think a lot of people actually, and this is quite controversial, I think a lot of people think it's for same-sex marriages, because before, when it wasn't legal,
I guess
which
so.
is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it was a celebrant would do a wedding for a same-sex marriage. So that's why I think people were like, I still don't understand what an actual celebrant can do.
It doesn't even feel like an option for some people, I think. And I spoke to you wouldn't have thought about it. I wouldn't have thought about it unless your venue didn't have an area license, and I would look into it. And some people get put off venues because it's not a licensed venue, and I'm like, that literally doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. But I think when you go and see venues, they'll say to you, and they almost scare you a little bit, which is right for the venue to do. They'll say, you need to contact a registrar now to book in a date and a time. And then you're like, oh my God, shit. So you go home literally that day. I bet everybody that's listening to this podcast that's booked a registrar is because they went to their venue, booked their venue, and then their venue were like, go and secure that date. And they go straight home.
Which is the right thing to do if you want a registrar, because otherwise you don't get the times. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Celebrant wedding. So if we went for a celebrant wedding, do you do the legal bit before or after? Do you think it's weird that you're legally married and then you're faking a marriage?
Or do you think it's weird to do it at the other? So, and this is the thing that a lot of people get put off by, is the thought of having to do it on a different day. So,
but when's your anniversary?
New Year's Eve. So we got married on the 16th legally, and in the nicest possible way, that means nothing. Like it is.
Oh, she made such a big deal out of it.
Yeah, but
I'm sure
do you know
why
I made
some money?
I reckon. How much did we spend on our legal wedding, Brian? £1,000? I reckon it was £1,000 to go out for a meal, to do the ceremony.
You had a different dress. Okay, but who do you then invite to the legal ceremony? So this is where it gets difficult. Like, because you enhanced it, let's say.
I only enhanced it because I wanted music. That was the only reason. I still wanted to walk down but it meant, do you know what? Having a legal wedding meant I got to do all the stuff totally selfishly. All the little things that I wanted to do that I literally didn't care about anybody else about. I wanted to have a moment of walking down the aisle with Isla. Like, that was lovely. But I would never have done that at my real wedding.
Yeah.
Like, it was nice to be able to do these things. So you didn't have
your parents there?
Nope. We had no family.
How did that go down?
I didn't ask. It was, because the thing is, if I had my mum, I have to have my dad. They're not together. If I have my mum and dad, we have to have Brian's mum. then we have to have her husband. Well, if her husband's there, I have to invite my dad's wife and my mum's husband. Now we're in a room of it, like this intimate little ceremony. It's going to end up being the wedding. So, and then if you have family, do you have siblings? Then when you start having siblings, it just adds up. We would have been on 30 people.
So who did you have?
So we had my 2 bridesmaids who are my best friends, their 2 partners, which are Brian's closest friends. Like we do a lot of stuff as couples, all of us, and Isla. So we had 7.
But you had a photographer, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, so Pat was part of his package meant that he did an engagement shoot. So instead of having the engagement shoot, we used it for the legal wedding.
Nice.
And honestly, I reckon it was the best decision we made about the whole wedding is doing a legal one 2 weeks before.
So how do you deal with people's parents who are like, you're not legally getting married, this is not right? Oh, you didn't answer my question.
Oh, sorry.
Hold back.
Go back.
That was not a skirt. Before or after?
We did before. I think because it made us more excited then for the wedding.
Yeah, I was going to say you go from like it
goes
a little
from
bit
a little
excited,
bit,
then you're like
to
buzzing,
a big high.
and I feel like going from the big wedding to the legal is a bit like
downgrade.
And
it depends on it depends on what kind of legal thing you want to do. So I have other friends that got married abroad and then had to do the legal bit when they came back. They went, just the 2 of them, after the wedding. To London.
They
got someone off the street to be a witness. There was nobody involved in it. It was. I think the lady cried and everything. It was adorable. So that's so lovely. That's not what I wanted to do, and that's fine.
But some people are like, I just don't make a big deal. It's just a sign and get my surname.
It's like when we went to register Isla's birth. I don't know what day we did that.
Yeah.
It did literally. It meant nothing. Her birthday was her birthday. Like it's not like people are like, well, what day are you going to celebrate her birthday? When she's legally birthed or when it was a big deal.
She legally was birthed, hopefully.
But so I think when couples talk about it, they'll figure out what feels right for them. Like my dad got married in a church and he'd already been married before, so they did it as a blessing in a church. So literally the day before we went, I think 4 of us went and had afternoon tea and then got married.
When you go abroad though, it's very easy. You can do your abroad thing, do your legal thing, then go to a party with everyone. Like that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, and it depends like how big you want to make it. We wanted ours to feel very night out, Vegas, little bit tacky. Like we had,
it was a bit tacky.
It was proper tacky. We had vodka. I should have paid Pat to stay longer and come to Revs because it was just hilariously disgusting.
God, you went to vodka Revs.
We went to Sticky Floor Vodka Revs. We had a booth. The people that came over, so they brought us, we'd bought one of those drinks packages where it's like the vodka with the sparklers coming out of it. They came over, put all this stuff down. They did confetti cannons, everything. So everybody in Revs, it was like 9 o'clock at night. So it was still like not even dark at this point. Was like, none of the
youngsters out there like, God, this girl's on a rando.
This literally was, and even the people that were working there were like, way, bye. We were like, okay.
They're not even excited for your wedding.
No, but that was a really nice day purely for us. And
you just want another excuse for a wedding.
100%. I want 4 hen dos, 2 weddings. But it meant like I could wear a blazer jacket and I could just be way more chill. It meant that I wasn't really nervous for the wedding because there's no way he's leaving because we're legally married. Yeah. He ain't going anywhere.
Were you like nervous for the legal bit?
No, because we did a first look before
so you saw each other.
So yeah, it was. I think the photos make it look bigger than what it is, and I think I have actually talked about it more because the photos were so good. Like it was snowy, it was beautiful. Like so, I talk about it because I want people to understand how much they can do or not do. So our only issue was potentially annoying family a little bit, but
yeah, like I personally would want my parents at my legal wedding.
Yeah, it depends what you see the legal wedding as,
because like that's like big. That's quite big.
I didn't see it as big.
You sign your life away.
I signed my life away on the mortgage document and the
True, and the child.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like it depends on how big you want to do it. Like my nan wouldn't have known that our wedding at the celebrant wedding.
You don't also have to tell anybody.
You don't have to tell anybody.
You don't have to tell anyone.
You don't have to have the photos and the whole shebang, or you can. Like it's literally each their own. But going back to the family bit, I kind of sat down and explained to them, and I was like, we're not making a big deal of this. This is not a thing. So please don't feel like we haven't involved you.
I feel like your social posts made it a big thing, and I think that's maybe where you may have.
Well, people knew. People like we made sure that we told family we were doing it. We told them the date. they knew everything. They just didn't come. And it wasn't like, I think you have to be very clever about who you pick. There's no way that my mum could be offended because there was nobody there that shouldn't have been there. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I had Brian's mum and not her. So I think either go super, if you've got a natural group of people that you would have, go for that. If not, then just do 2 of you. You can literally go in and sign it. You can probably get
some. You don't have to dress up.
No. Some people go in like...
Go in joggers.
Yeah. Jeans and a t-shirt, sign the document, think nothing of it, and then go and do the wedding. But I would highly recommend people look at that option because our ceremony was... Beautiful. Like, so unique. We involved Isla in it. We did all of the elements of a wedding, like of a proper ceremony, but just made it more us. A little bit of sprinkle on it.
A little bit of sauce.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get the sauce.
A bit of sauce. So would you, if you got, I'm being serious here. If you got married a year ago, would you have booked a registrar?
Yep.
If you got married tomorrow, would you book a celebrant?
Yep.
Because you've seen it. Yeah, this is the... But I don't want people...
But also, like, I've been doing weddings for ages.
Are we going to talk about how you lied about your age?
Yeah, guys. Oh my God. My mum listened and she was like, Beth, you're not 28 or 27. And I was like, oh my God, I know. I texted Georgie before it even aired and was like, I lied about my age. I meant post 25, my skin was like aging. And then I said post 27. And then you're like, how old are you? Just a baby.
If you're tired of wedding planning stress ruining the excitement of your big day, then you need to download Bridebook.
It's the UK's #1 wedding planning app.
You can literally plan your whole wedding with the use of their app and actually enjoy the journey.
The tools they have on the app are so good. They make sure you don't miss a thing with your own personalised checklist, and you don't need to worry about overspending because their intelligent budget tracker has got your back.
But probably the most exciting thing, and something that I even use as a wedding planner, is that they have over 100,000 different venues and suppliers on the platform, so you can find the dream team that's perfect for you and your partner.
It's so helpful when planning to keep everything in one place. So I'm pretty sure that's why 2 out of 3 couples in the UK use it.
And the best part from the cheap gal is that it's free.
So why wait? Go and join the 1.3 million couples who already use Bridebook today.
Download the Bridebook app for free now in the App Store or Google Play Store. Happy planning.
But no, I've done a lot of weddings. And if I'm being honest, when I do weddings, wedding coordinator front or styling front, so wedding coordinating my background, and that's what I did. Venue coordinating, let's be real, actually, not wedding coordinating, venue coordinating. There's
different things. We know this.
But like once the bride's down the aisle, I'm out figuring out drinks reception, canapes, on my staff, my agency staff briefed XYZ. I don't actually really listen to the ceremonies. I'm just back in time to make sure she gets out and make sure her dress is nice again. So I kind of leave during that bit because again,
you don't have to do anything for that bit.
Again, with registrars, rooms are licensed for numbers. So certain rooms would be like 100 people. That includes staff. You. The registrar. Musicians. Photographer. So you've got to be really tight on those numbers as well. So I was like, I'll dip because I've got other shit to do.
I think we're scaring people that might have registrars though. All I want to say is it will still be
probably won't
fantastic.
Know any
you
different.
won't know any different.
You won't know any different.
But if you are at the start, or if you're at the point where you could look to change stuff,
this is where I was getting to before I really got interrupted. Jogging. Because I witnessed a celebrant at a wedding of people who I know. It's very different. When I was venue coordinating, because I didn't get to know my couple so much. When I do styling, I'm not in the room. I make it pretty. I wait for you, and then I turn around and make it pretty again. It was really special when I knew you guys. To have a celebrant, because I was just so like, when I say like, if you actually like, some of the photos are hilarious. I'm in the background like proud mum when I see Isla. But like, I was genuinely smiling the whole way through that ceremony. And like what I find again, and this is no shade, people who have church weddings with people who aren't religious. Some people are just, you can see on their face they're just disengaged, checked out a little bit, and that is no shade. It's some people are, some people aren't. It's you do you and the way you work. And I thought I'd always get married at a church as well, because I'm not massively religious, but I went to a Church of England school and traditional. And like, we have a beautiful church,
and nothing beats the feeling of a bride walking into a church. Definitely.
But now it doesn't feel right. I mean, my partner's not religious at all, so it would just feel off for us. But yeah, experience it with people I know. It's a no-brainer for me. But before, I've been in the industry 12 years. And it was only until your wedding I was like, I want a celebrant.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Because I hadn't really, every wedding I've been to was a registrar, and it was just the usual, or a church wedding.
Yeah.
That was just, it just trumps it for me. I was like, that is it. But it's, if you want that more relaxed feel and that more personal feel,
this is the thing, it depends on the couple. If you want something
very traditional, and
that works for you. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's figuring out the type of people you are, the type of wedding that you want. If you want a super traditional wedding, maybe Celebrant isn't the right route. Yeah, because they are normally a bit cooler, like
a bit more funky looking.
Like a bit more personality behind it. If you're looking for super traditional,
like a bright pink suit.
Yeah, rocked it,
and she looked so cool.
Yeah, like, and that was part of the.
And a lot of them have different colour hair.
Yeah. You get a lot of like rainbow celebrants and like. I know a handful of brilliant celebrants. Obviously, Faye is forever going to be my recommendation of, but she absolutely smashed our wedding. But there are some brilliant celebrants all over the UK that, again, it's a personality thing. You'll find the right celebrant for you because, like, certain people won't suit other people, and that's fine. It's the same as all suppliers. Find the person that makes sense for you to have.
But I think parents would be like, why do you need a celebrant? Yeah, because they're in that old school.
Yeah, again,
church registrar.
Maybe this is awful. Don't explain it to them. Like, they honestly,
people
don't
need to, like, nobody would know.
No, literally nobody would know.
Fake it. Yeah, like, you didn't do a sign of a registrar, did you? No. Because it was.
I just didn't want to sit down.
You just and I think the table would have ruined the look.
Yeah,
like, not being funny. Like, the vibe was perfect. That was the statement, and that's what annoys me. I can do a beautiful arch and there's a big table in front of it with a dirty tablecloth.
I own your tablecloths.
Dirty. I hate that word, dirty. That's cringe. I can't believe I said that.
Sorry. So, question. Do you think a registrar ruins a wedding?
No.
Okay.
Do you?
Sometimes.
To be fair, some registrars have really pissed me off.
Yeah. Like, maybe it's more from a supplier side of it, though.
The photographer wanted to do a full room shot and they wouldn't move.
Yeah, see, the issue I have with
knobby behaviour. You were at that wedding. That was one of our weddings.
Who? Oh, I know who. Okay.
But it was such a beautiful setup,
but he was brilliant.
Was he?
Oh, a full room shot, clear. Oh, yes. No, I agree with that. Yes, that did happen.
And they wouldn't move, and they were just sat there, and it was like,
some registrars that come are just the power trip. Oh my god, the power.
They're old school, though, aren't they?
Yeah, proper old school, and they know that this couldn't happen without them.
Yeah,
because they are the legality behind it.
The top dog.
Yeah. They are. You have to do what they say.
Without them, you
not. So people sometimes freak out, and they're like, "Well, what happens if I am late?" Because it happened. Like, I've seen loads of weddings where
I think you can be reasonably late, but not when it's like.
But what the worst thing that happened?
I've had it. At one of our venues.
You can say it.
And I was texting the girls. I was like, how's it going? Like, 'cause they were waiting for turnaround. And they're like, bride's still not come down. Registrars are kicking off. And it just means a horrible vibe for, like, wedding planner, coordinator. It's like, we're trying to get you down. Like, don't intentionally be like, I think 5-10 minutes, you're cool. You got to keep him sweating, or she's sweating, you know. Are they coming now?
I don't know. They're here. Yeah.
You can't take the piss of them.
No. The worst case scenario is that they will go. But do you know what I would do? I would stand up and do the ceremony. I'd be a celebrant.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. You could go up and...
anybody could stand and do it. If you're thinking of having a family member, I would see if you can still get in touch with a celebrant or somebody to write a script for you.
100%.
Just so that you get that formality a little bit. My script is actually on my website if anybody wants to read what a celebrant ceremony sounds like. Just
and what is your website?
It's www.georginaroseevents.co.uk, and I think it's on the blog My Wedding. There's a lot about my wedding, but it's, again,
we'll leave a link below.
Thank you. It's all I like for couples is to know their options. I don't like when people get so deep into their wedding and they go, but didn't even know that was a thing.
I've been doing this 12, like I said, and I wouldn't have had a celebrant because I just thought I don't need one. If I need a registrar, I've got to go do it. I always assumed the registrar, the celebrant would just be an additional cost. How much are celebrants?
Depends, but
if I throw some figures, would you be like
between 700 and $2,000? Like, that's kind of where I'd put them.
And how much is a registrar on the...
I don't know. I have to find out for you. I will find out and try and put it in. But it was like something like 600. But the problem is you still have to go and sign. I think a registrar to
venue is like 1,500.
No.
You have to give notice.
Yeah.
Which costs £35 per person.
Yeah.
A registrar's fee £86 at a religious registered building.
How much?
£86 at a registered building.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not 1,500.
Prices from Monday to Thursday.
Yeah, this is the other thing. Day of the week.
£4.90 for Bath. This may be an old, but just to give a rough idea.
Yeah.
So what, we're at like 600 quid already. Public will cost you upwards from 650 on a weekend.
So basically,
£1,000.
What for celebrants?
Venue surcharge, because venues,
some venues will charge
for a ceremony,
but they'll probably charge if it's a celebrant or a registrar. To be fair, because it's their
because
setup.
they have to pay a license to
True.
get licensed. So it's like another fee. Okay, so I'd probably say around
I think
£1,000.
I reckon it costs about, I would say, a couple of £100 more to do the two. It depends. Totally. That's not me adding on the TGI Fridays and the revs and that sort of thing. So it's definitely not ridiculously more expensive to go and have a legal ceremony and a registrar and a celebrant. So
I think between like about £700.
Yeah, I would say, let's say it's £1,000 to have a celebrant.
I think that's being generous.
That's being over. Yeah. That is overthinking it. And then £400 to legally get married. So either way, it's going to cost you to legally get married. It just depends on the ceremony you want.
Don't quote our facts and figures.
Can you tell me, Beth, if you were going to do your wedding tomorrow, when would you legally get married then?
I do it before.
And do what? Make a deal?
No,
or no
actually,
deal?
Let's go back. I would get married abroad. So I would go abroad, get married, do that. Then come back, do registry office, have a party. That's what I do.
Who would come to your registry office?
I'm not too bothered because I've had my wedding and I'm having a wedding party as well.
Bougie.
So just whoever's available on the day.
Can I come? I'll be free if you want. I'll be happening to walk past the registry office. Because
I'll be having like a second wedding one night that day. Oh, shit. Oh. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, see, that's how I saw it. I saw it as a tick box exercise. Wasn't a big deal. It was more about going out. It was almost felt like,
I think because you had a photographer and things, you made it like
but it felt like an engagement party.
It looked a massive deal online.
Yes, because it just looked so cool.
Anyway,
are
we at the point of bitches of a bride?
Bitches for a bride. This is.
We need a jingle.
Brian, make us a jingle. Bitches from a bride.
I loved your first podcast. I know you mentioned sending questions in through Instagram. I'd have one for you if you have time. I'd love your thoughts on getting married by a celebrant and how that works with the legal bit. We are considering using a celebrant and then doing the legal bit before/after the day, but I'm not sure how I feel about not getting legally married within the actual ceremony.
So I'm back because I've talked to brides about this before and tried to explain it. And the problem I have with it is that it's so obvious to me that it just doesn't matter. But I can see why for other people they're like, well, no, I want to be legally getting married. Like, I don't like the thought of it being on a different day.
So then I say you have to do it before, because otherwise you wouldn't feel married on the day of your wedding.
Yeah, I agree.
The celebrant day.
But I think people don't realise. I think the couples that ask these sort of questions haven't been to a celebrant-led ceremony.
So she did follow on. I did send some messages back, and I was like, hey, we are going to talk about it, but here's a link to Georgie's wedding.
Thank you.
And she said, maybe it's something I need to get my head around, as I'd always seen it happening on the day, but I guess that's just more of a traditional way, and I'm wanting more of a more modern wedding anyway, so it could be a great shout.
I genuinely didn't feel any different after we legally got married.
Did you feel different after the...
No.
But okay, let's put a poll up. If you are married or recently married,
did
or
it
know
feel
anyone,
any different?
Did it feel any different? Like, you finally got the surname, ladies or gents.
Do you know what? And Brian's literally having a go at me because I have moaned for 12 and a half years that we haven't had the same surname.
And you've not changed anything.
Still haven't changed my surname. I've got time. It's so much effort.
There is a lot of post things to do. Like
mine was the wedding. I wanted the wedding, and I have no shame in saying.
You changed your Facebook name though.
Changed my Facebook name. That was big deals. And I changed my signature on my emails. But like, I wanted the wedding. I wanted to stand up in front of everybody and tell each other how much we loved each other, and mark that time in history. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter if legally 2 weeks before I signed a piece of paper.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it. But each person is different, and again, it's going to depend on how involved families are and stuff like that. But to me, if you've got really close-knit families and stuff, do the legal one and bring your families. Make it like a Sunday dinner out.
It's like a Sunday dinner is a good one. Yeah, but it's like, do you need a dress?
Yeah. I know lots of people who just go in something white tracksuit. Like, just make it.
Oh my god,
fun.
cute! I do white sweats. Him in black.
You'd be tanned as well.
Yeah,
You'd
I'd have
sick.
white like night tracksuit.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not.
She's not. Carry on.
Yeah. I'd have him in a black one.
This is so ick.
No, it's not.
It's
I'd have a veil. I'd have heart sunglasses, and I'd make it. You know, them. You see it on TikTok when they're like sparkler exit in sweats instead of like.
Yeah. Oh, I do love that.
Like really vintage Polaroid, like. You know, like the heart vintage cakes everyone's doing.
See, this is where I think you get to have 2 weddings.
Yeah, I'd have like a really
like if I wasn't so cheap,
cool.
I would have done even better for the legal one.
Yeah,
but I'm cheap, so
I would do it like you did went to TGI's and you were on the bar and stuff like.
Yeah, so we met at TGI.
I'd like go to a diner and fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't go to Revs. I would probably maybe go to a speakeasy bar and get some cool pics.
We actually did go to a speakeasy too.
Where did you go?
What's it called in Cheltenham? Where you go downstairs and it's behind the books.
I wouldn't call Clarence Social a speakeasy bar.
Downstairs is. Yeah, it's in with a bar though. It is within a bar.
Basically
so it's basically a door.
I do like it though. It's cool.
But it was cool. So we went and had a drink.
Book to get in.
Yeah, cool. It was good. So we made that a totally different wedding.
I think it's just
totally
mindset.
Different.
You got to get a shift out of it. If it's not, it's traditional. This is modern.
Yeah.
Like, how much does the legal element
Imagine
of it? Like, you've got a ring on your finger, honey.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, girlfriend.
Think like 20 years ago.
Oh my god,
50 years ago, when they weren't doing churches anymore. When they were like, no, we're getting married at the venue, and there's a person coming out to meet. People would have been like, no.
Generation shift, isn't it?
And it's but if you're not doing it at church, then it's not a real ceremony. So that's what would have happened then, and now we're into this. I don't think it's going to be long before celebrants are legal. Yeah, like in Scotland.
For sure,
100%.
Have you got another one that you want to talk about?
Okay, I've got another bitches from a bride. This one's short and sweet though, straight to the point.
Is it juicy?
It's juicy. Ladies. That's how you know it's
ladies and fellas too.
Right. Ladies, my dad has flat out refused to walk me down the aisle if it's a non-legal wedding.
What?
That's it.
Nothing else?
Nope.
Fuck off.
Do you know what?
Get off your high horse. Nah, I get.
No, I don't get it.
You know, if you're religious,
there's no religion in a legal ceremony.
Oh yeah,
I know. You can't. It's not even like that's what annoys me. A celebrant to me has more training than a registrar.
Really?
I've just made that up, but yeah.
You can't make it up. I need facts.
But to do like some celebrant things, you go through courses and stuff to learn how to do it.
But
and to learn
as a registrar, you do too.
Oh my god, there's so many more things I want to tell you about a celebrant-led ceremony. Like they do ring warming. Have you ever heard of a ring warming?
Do they warm up the rings?
Yeah, but they tie the rings together. And they pass it round. Every guest holds it.
Oh my god, cute!
Is that not adorable?
Like, because I wouldn't want everyone's grubby fingers on my nice.
Well, that's one of the
ring.
things that people don't want to happen. But
I'd send a fake one round just because I like the thought of it.
Yeah, but then you're not getting the blessings on your ring, are you?
No.
But I've seen that, and I think that's lovely. Like the little hand warming.
Idea.
Me and Brian aren't cute enough. I think our guests would have been like, pass it on. So the ring warming you do hand tying where you then tie a knot with the ribbons. You can do sand pouring. Cute. You can do shots. Have you seen that on TikTok?
Yeah.
Where they do a unity shot.
Yeah.
Like I like those. You can do anything like that in a celebrant one. So they learn all these different things. So to me, any dad that says I'm not doing that,
I just tell him it is
dick.
Legal.
How would I know?
How would he know?
How would he know? What's the TikTok? No, what's the TikTok? How'd they know? How are they going to know? Something like that. We'll find it.
She knows.
What? How would they know?
How would they know? Ooh.
What an awful situation to be put in.
It's just literally what I mean. People are shitty when it comes to weddings.
Proper shitty.
It's not up to you. You want to give your daughter away, yes or no?
Yeah.
If you don't,
fine.
Let someone else doing it. And don't moan about it when she doesn't pick you.
Yeah.
She doesn't need the ag.
Yeah.
It's like a girl, right?
Yeah, I assume. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's just, what an asshole. They wouldn't know.
I think have a frank conversation and just be like, it's legal.
And legit, if anybody's already worrying about their parents doing it, don't tell them. There is categorically no way that they would ever know that it was a registrar versus
I'm also
celebrant.
sorry you have to deal with that. It's just shame.
That is. Come and bitch to us. That'll make you feel better.
So
it's tip jar time.
Tip jar.
Give me something good.
Am I giving it to you?
Yeah. I feel like you can always give it to me.
I need.
Georgie's got great tips.
Georgie's got great tips.
Georgie's got big tips. But guys, don't forget to add more questions in. We've had a few added in.
They're just topics.
Yeah. or quick fire questions?
That was not a good ASMR, was it?
Do you reckon we get paid to do these?
Nails.
Ooh.
I assume you mean like nails.
Well, yeah, wedding nails.
Go on
Do
then.
you go... So my issue with nails is I feel like you've got to go safe.
Oh, 100%.
Do you agree?
You need to have at least a few trials of what you want it to look.
Here's the issue. It starts getting expensive, weddings, man.
No,
and you get
you get your nails done if you're normal human being.
I trialed my nails for my hen do.
Yeah, great
tip.
Top tip here.
What did I say?
I
trialed
Wait,
my...
let's go again. Top tip.
I trialed my fake tan, my nails, and my lashes for my hen do.
And you're glad you did, because your fake tan wasn't great for your hen do.
No, so I then I spray tan for the hen do. I don't know who she is. I did spray tan for the hen do.
You were disappointed with
and
it,
I didn't like it at all. And she forgot to do the front of my legs.
Oh.
So I was like, definitely not going to spray tan.
Oh, I hope she's not listening, because she might be sad about that.
It's fine, we're over it.
So yeah, great
But
tip.
it also helped me to see how long it lasted.
So did you have nails like mine?
You've got yours are a bit square for me.
No, like colour. Like
Yeah,
very
I had, what's it called? Hailey Bieber nails.
Hailey Bieber nails.
The glazed donut.
It's like the chrome. Yeah,
they were really
love
nice.
that. Most people will go for like French.
Yeah, French is classic.
Nude.
Like just understated. I think when you start doing nail art and stuff like that, I think you'll regret it. I do think you'll regret it.
It'd be a fad.
I saw somebody once at a wedding that had really neutral nails, and then she had a little star on both of her things for 2 people that she'd lost. And I was like, that's adorable. She's like, they're my stars.
How did you know that?
She told me.
But if she didn't tell you, I'd be like, I love the concept of it.
Yeah, but it was very low key.
I'd rather like a really dainty bracelet with someone's initial on or
That's
something.
fine. You're each to their own.
We should probably talk about that. People who aren't there at the wedding.
We should do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, because I've
That'll
seen
get
some
me.
amazing ideas. Yeah, I'd probably cry. I'd cry at everything. Anyway,
Okay.
time
do you want
to
any
wrap
more
it up.
tips?
Oh, you just
I don't know.
No.
Nails. We're stopping on nails.
Nails.
Okay. That's your nail tip.
I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Put some questions in our tip jar.
Questions in our tip jar.
Send some bitches. Let us know how you're liking it. Review all of that jazz. You know the deal.
But now
help us out. We'll help you out.
We pretty much nearly had like 5 hours worth of chatting.
Chat.
I hope you're loving it.
Let us know if
Let
you're
us know
still involved.
Still on the journey. If you're new,
Yeah.
all of that fun
let
stuff.
us know, and we will see you next Wednesday.
See you soon.
Bye.